Freezing waters, crazy currents, jellyfish, sharks and whales. Just some of the obstacles that Corkman Steve Redmond is taking on in his attempt to complete the Ocean Sevens challenge. Take a look.
I'm Steve Redmond. I'm 45 years of age. I'm married with 2 kids. I live in Ballydehob. I train down here in Lochine all year round. This is called Lochine. It's a nature reserve between Baltimore and Skibbereen. It's one of the only saltwater lakes, and it's a tidal lake, and it's bloody cold. You can come down at 3 o'clock in the morning and swim your lap, get out, go home, start work, and then come down again in the evening and meet up with a couple of guys and do a few laps with them, and it becomes just a way of life. I always enjoy the kind of quietness the water brings to the whole thing. It's only a battle with yourself. We've swam the Fastnet, Cape Clear, and out to Dragumla from here. We're just taking on this challenge to see if we can accomplish something that hasn't been achieved by anybody yet. And really, just to put Ireland back on the map, really, I'm kind of fed up listening to the doom and gloom. And, as I say, we're only going to be around 10, 20 more years. And, we can either live or die, get on with it. The challenge is called the Ocean 7 Challenge. It's 7 channels all around the world. We've done the English Channel, the North Channel. They're all difficult swims, all different. But we're training away all year round anyway, so we're going to give it a go. You're trained for 2 years for 20 hours, and that's what it all comes down to, whether you can keep going for these 20 hours. It took us 20 hours to do the English Channel, whereas the Irish Channel, the challenge up there was the jellyfish and the cold water. We put on around 3 stone to compensate the cold up there. After around 8 hours, we just started getting attacked every 2 or 3 minutes by the jellyfishes. It was as if they had a symbiotic mind that they just all came on you. The whole trick really is trying not to get sick. The immune system gets battered by the cold water. The first couple of hours are the best, really. You're feeling good, you're full of food, you're not tired. I also went to a psychotherapist and got some self-hypnosis and visualization done. Because as I say, you're in the water and really only talk to one person for the whole swim. You try to switch off and kind of go into a kind of self-hypnosis kind of state, because you start worrying about who's the boat or what time you're doing, stuff like that. It starts chipping away at your confidence. There's millions and millions of reasons for you to stop. You just have to shut the whole thing out and get a mantra into your stroke. Like we normally do it for charity, like the North Channel was for the Irish Cancer Society. You have all these people and you think, well, you can't let them down. And it's another reason to keep going.
Wow, that's pretty amazing stuff. Now Steve is with us, Steve Redmond, and also Dave Williams. Who is the fundraiser on all this mad crusade? Yes?
Unfortunately I am, yeah.
Yes, you are. Now, Steve, tell me, why would you take on something like this?
It's kind of to find out how far you can go. You're beating all the obstacles in your mind, the weather, the cold water, just to see if you can do something that people have been telling you for 2 years that you won't be able to do.
Okay.
And overcoming the whole thing.
So it's almost like, really, the 7 seas. It's almost like climbing the 7 peaks of the world. Would it be kind of...
Absolutely. It's supposed to be the Accra, or the maritime equivalent of the Seven Peaks.
Okay, so tell us everything and tell us where you're going.
Well, we've done the English Channel and the North Channel,
Which the north is really difficult.
The coldest, the hardest swim of the lot. There's maybe 2 or 3 times a year that you can get to swim in, and you're attacked by jellyfish the whole time up there. The cold water, we put on around 3 stone to combat the cold water up there. And we were on a last chance when we finally got in, and we came from Scotland to Ireland in 17 hours on the 31st of September last year.
Next?
We're hoping to go to Gibraltar, Catalina, Hawaii, the Cook Straits in New Zealand, and there's one more in Japan. And nobody's ever achieved this, so it would be an Irish first, a world first, and it would be a great thing if we could get people behind us and get it done. There's a couple of guys are on 4 and 5. An American guy is on 4 channels and an Australian is on 5. So it's a bit of a race.
It is. When do you think you'll be able to complete it? What is your kind of...
Our timeline is around 2 years.
Okay.
You know, that's very optimistic because every channel is a difficult swim. You know, I say this now, we don't like saying that we're going to do this until we've done it, really, because you put the mockers on it, you know, and bad luck will follow you. Like, you know.
All right. What are the lengths of these channels? I mean, what would be the furthest?
The Hawaiian Channel, I suppose, is the furthest. It's around 26 miles, but you don't ever swim in a straight line. You end up swimming like in an S with the tides, so you could end up swimming 45 miles.
And do you stop in between this?
We stop every 45 minutes for feed.
For how long?
As quickly as you can, because over, say, a 20-hour swim, you could add another hour onto your swim with just feeds, and you spend 2 or 3 minutes moaning about the conditions and giving out, and you know, I feel sick. You know, there's 1,000 reasons why you want to stop, but if after around 9-10 hours you're not injured and your boat is good, you have somebody on the boat telling you, well, why stop? You know, you're on the other side of the hill. You can get there now.
Okay. Now, Dave, how much is this going to cost? Do you have any estimation yet?
We reckon in around 100,000. That will cover the cost of flights, hotels, food. Boats and crews are very expensive to hire on site. We'll have to have translators in Japan, visas, cost of living while we're out there. Yeah. There's also the chance that we could be out in New Zealand for 3 weeks, because it's not like you can go out for a day or two, hope to swim and come back. So we have to wait for good tides and good weather.
We're talking about the oceans of the world that differ so much, Steve. I mean, you talked about jellyfish, probably harmless compared to what you might actually come up against.
Absolutely, you could come up against anything over there. Sharks, barracuda, squid, large stinging jellyfish are that really can do serious damage. We were stung for 8-9 hours in the North Channel constantly, but we got over that because we were cold and we didn't swell up, we didn't have it go into shock. We just kept going. We're told on the boat, you can either die or finish the swim. You're not getting back on the boat. My wife is my feeder on the boat, so when you have an angry woman in the middle of the water, you do what you're told.
Well, it's a massive, massive challenge. We wish you the best of luck with it. I mean, it really is a big thing to take on. Have you got any fear at all?
Not really, no. It's all about conquering the fear. Like, you know, you just accept what you don't really control, like, you know, and get on with it. Like.
Okay. Wish you the best.
Thank you.
And also, Dave, with the fundraising and the information, of course, about the Ocean 7 Challenge. That is what he's doing. You can sponsor Steve, and all the details on how to do that is on the website on the Airtel page 340. Brave men, fair play. Now, what are the similarities between a healthy relate